I'm not sure at what point while playing Meme Run I first started crying. Maybe the tear first slipped out when I first heard the Wombo Combo yells blasting suddenly through my speakers. Maybe it was when I randomly fell through the solid ground to my death. Maybe it was when it all finally became just too much to bear about 45 minutes in, or maybe it was the second I saw the title screen. I suppose it really doesn't matter though. My entire time with the game has become a haze of obnoxious, horrid, yet enrapturing gameplay, audio, and visuals that never seem to end. All this to say, Meme Run is a terrible game. I'm going to give it a terrible score. But you knew that already. The gameplay is simple, repetitive, and unfair. The visuals are terrible, and the sound is practically painful. But that's the point. This isn't supposed to be a good game, it's supposed to be a fun experience. The question is, does it succeed at that? The gameplay is extremely simple. You run through a randomly generated set of platforms, pressing A to jump, holding the button to jump farther, and B to slide. You'll jump from platform to platform over pits and slide under barriers that could push you to the back of the screen, which means death, which means restarting from the beginning. As you run, you automatically rack up swag points, with some multipliers scattered throughout. Your goal is to get a new high score of swag points. Along your journey to get swag points, there is no shortage of memes to keep you occupied. You yourself play as a Trollface Stickman. The very platforms you run along have meme faces, there are multicolored toads in the background, and as you run and pick up multipliers, foghorns, dollar bills, and incredibly loud and annoying sound effects start showing up, shaking the screen and covering your view, making it nigh impossible at times to time out and execute jumps and slides correctly. It's a smorgasbord of internet jokes getting right up in your face in the loudest, most annoying way possible, and honestly, it's not bad. I mean, it's absolutely abysmal, obviously. I got a headache after 3 minutes, and I'm not kidding. But it's so utterly ridiculous, so completely baffling as to the fact that the game exists and is doing all this garbage that it is kind of funny. And in a way, it's addicting. I found myself pushing restart far longer than I needed to get information and impressions for my review. As I played, I just stared at the screen in a shell-shocked state as the thoughts came to me that God is dead and life is meaningless. All that exists is pain, this glorious pain that I can never stop experiencing. Also, I wanted to get a new high score. The gameplay is completely based around distracting you with audio visuals in obnoxious ways so you can't focus, but I didn't really mind it much since that's the appeal of the game in the first place. No, my problem with the game was the controls, or specifically, how the jump isn't responsive enough. You can't land and immediately jump again, so during tougher segments you're going to die, plain and simple. Thus, you can't get very far unless you get lucky level designs from the random generator, and therefore it's hard to get to the new stuff a lot later on that supposedly exists. I never saw it, but then again I never got very far. This lets down a key element of the game. You expect to die unfairly, but that's because of the interruptions and distractions, not because of a bad control scheme, and it throws the game off somewhat, taking away from the appeal, or brain cell killing, parts of the experience. Honestly, there was a point where I was tempted to suggest this game to some people. No one looking for an actually good game should ever buy Meme Run, but if it sounds like you'd enjoy its baffling randomness and horribleness, which I'm sure many will, then it might be worth $1 or $2 for some laughs. But it's $5. $5. At that price, the experience just isn't worth it. If the price goes down and you want to experience its horrific genius, then perhaps go for it, but until then, I simply can't recommend Meme Run save for those with a lot of extra cash to spare and a desire to see whether this game is really as insane as it looks.